Huracan owners and people who want a Huracan, have you ever wished the Huracan sounded more like the first-gen Gallardo with the even-firing V10? I'm pretty sure, the 5-liter V10. Yes, the uneven firing or odd firing, I think it's actually more correct to say the odd firing V10 of the Huracan. It sounds good, don't get me wrong. Sounds very, very good. But the first-gen Gallardo just sounds so much better. Sounds more like an F1 car. It's up there, in my opinion, with the LFA and the Carrera GT. And honestly, I'd rather have a first-gen Gallardo Superleggera over a LFA and Carrera GT. Mostly because, for one, the LFA is expensive, and the Carrera GT sounds like it's really difficult to drive. So I would honestly go for that. And also, it's more my style anyways. Though I do wish it had you could get the modern headlights of the Gallardo on the first gen just to fix that a bit. But to answer the question, do you wish your Huracan sounded like a first gen Gallardo? Do you wish there was a way? Well, ladies and genitals, there is a way. All you gotta do is give Steve Morris a call, because he, not too long ago, unveiled and demonstrated a twin-turbo Huracan engine that he built one-off for Houston Crosta for his Huracan STO, and it sounds like a first-gen Gallardo engine. But it's a Huracan engine, and its twin-turbo makes an slowed amount of power, and it sounds like an OG underground racing engine, which is a huge compliment. Do you guys even remember what those cars sounded like? You used to hear them all the time, and now it's like we've all forgotten how good those cars sounded.
This is a 5.2 even fire 5.0 combination. $1982 at 8,900 RPM.
But yeah, give him a call. See if he can make like a naturally aspirated version. That's what I would want. You know, I would buy like a Performante or something, or an STO, and put an NA version of the engine he built for Houston and put it into the car, and just probably the perfect Lamborghini, apart from the Aventador SV. Now, did you know, because I didn't, that if you put a blow-off valve on a supercharger rather than a turbocharged engine, not only will your blow-off valve, if you vent it to the open air, not only will it go the whoosh and whistle when you let off the gas or rev it, it will also do kind of a sustained, constant whistle, whoosh, whistle, which, ooh, it really makes me want to get like a Greddy Type S, put it on like an EM1 Civic Si that's been supercharged. It would sound just like Brian's Eclipse, like 1-to-1. It would be so cool. So, now I want to ask you guys something. Because we normally don't talk about EVs on this show, unless if we're talking about how dog shit they are. But, I recently went to the Celebrity Car Museum in Branson, Missouri. And I saw a Back to the Future DeLorean, previously owned by Universal. And it got me thinking, are there cars out there that would actually benefit from an EV conversion and would actually make sense, aesthetically? Because I feel like the DeLorean is a rare instance where, obviously, everyone says the gearbox is junk, the engine is junk, it's slow, it's not very good, but we love it because of Back to the Future. So what's a better way to hit 88 miles an hour in style? What about an EV conversion? I know. This is the ice age, the internal combustion engine age, but hear me out. Because the DeLorean in the Back to the Future is meant to be kind of a retro, futuristic style car, having it be electric and pretending it's powered by nuclear fusion by disintegrating banana peels, maybe that would be kind of cool. And if you can put in, like, a nice electric motor that makes cool noises, maybe it'd be alright. Maybe it would actually be pretty decent with all of the you need to have all the Back to the Future goodies on top of it, though. But, that brings up the question, can an EV sports car sound good? And I'm not talking about synthetic noises. I'm not talking about that Dodge Daytona, cat and heat bullshit. Ugh. That sounds, ugh. I hate it. Even the Audi e-tron sounds and all those other synthetic noises, they sound nice, But the problem is the fact that I know it's synthetic and being piped through acoustics, it's immersion breaking. Because you have to find a way to immerse yourself and lie to yourself that it's exciting and fun. But because I prefer internal combustion engine sounds where their sounds and noises are generated by explosions in the engine, an electric vehicle is not going to be the same. You know, if you were to have me choose between a fire-breathing dragon and, I don't know, a toaster possessed by Darth Sidious, I would want to take the dragon. I'm sorry, but it's just, I feel like a toaster possessed by Darth Sidious is very meme-worthy, though. So I know a lot of people that would be like, well, let's hear him out. Let's see how this turns out first. But you know what I mean. It was just a really bad comparison. More to the point, the Porsche 7... Let me read this. The Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 e-Performance. Have a listen. That sound, for one thing, I love the blue taillight, but that sound is loud, it's audible from the outside, which is great for spectators and the driver, so you can be proud of it. It's not synthetic, as far as I'm aware. It looks cool. It doesn't follow the stupid design language of most electric vehicles, because I haven't found a single electric vehicle that I like the look of yet. Not the Audi e-tron, not the Neo EP9, none of the, whatever the car is, the Rimac. I don't like the way those look either. The Porsche EV, whatever it's called, I can't even remember. I don't think any of them look good, not even that cool Mercedes EQS or whatever it's called, because the problem is that the side profile of all of them are just weird. And I feel like they're trying to invent a new design language for electric vehicles so that they can kind of associate that look with the future. And the problem is that it looks fucking awful. But if you're going to build an electric vehicle and you want it to look cool, make it sound cool and make it look like a normal car. At the very least. Oh my god. But yeah, this car is really cool. It doesn't sound like dental tools. It doesn't sound like those high-powered drills they use to split your teeth open. It doesn't look stupid. Porsche. If you're going to build EVs, at least build them to look like that. And then you'll corner the market on everything. If you save the internal combustion engine, and you build cars that look like the 911 GT3 RS, and your EVs still manage to appeal to enthusiasts like how this Cayman GT4 e-Performance does, at least to me in my opinion, like I would drive and own and race this if my car sounded like this. They would corner every market on the planet, because no one else has figured it out. No one else is trying hard enough. Speaking of getting close, though, and not quite making it, Hyundai. They used to be the laughingstock of the sports car kind of automotive space. Never really taken very seriously. But with their kind of N-series cars lately, that's really started to change. To the point that someone had an Elantra or something like that in California. They had it in N mode, which is the most aggressive setting. It's like putting your car in Corsa or track mode or whatever, or sport mode, where it kind of makes it crackles and burbles. A California cop, you know where this is going, pulled this guy over and said it was making unnecessary noises and that it was backfiring or overrunning or something like that, and he gave him a fix-it ticket. Now the car was fully stock, so how do you fix a factory option? You couldn't drive the car anymore. He had to fix it. He had to pay fines and all kinds of crap. California basically forced Hyundai to buy this car back from this guy. Oh man. Why do people live in California again? The weather? It's hot. There are no reasons for you to be there, objectively speaking, as an automotive enthusiast. Unless if your car is registered from out of state, which I don't think California appreciates too much. But more to the point with Hyundai, trying to get themselves taken seriously. If their cars are already cool enough to get pulled over by the police in stock format, you know they're doing something right. Now they could be doing something very right with their Hyundai Envision 74 concept, because, oh my god, that car looks amazing. It looks like an old school tuner car with a little bit of aftermarket parts already on it, but it looks modern, tastefully so. The only concern I have is the power plant, because they want it to be propelled by electric motors that are kind of given energy from, I hope I'm wording this right, using power from hydrogen fuel cells. So it wouldn't be a hydrogen internal combustion engine. It would be basically an electric vehicle, more or less. And as far as I understand it, sure, that's cool. But just from an enthusiast standpoint, I'm not sure I'm cool with that. Unless if the electric motors make cool noises. The other thing I heard is that they're thinking about doing, or are going to try and do, synthetic shifting, which will actually make the car slower, but it will synthesize the experience of changing gears, which, I hate using this word, but it seems kind of ricey. I'm just not sure. It's pretending to be something it's not, which is not something I'm super a fan of, at least for cars from the factory, especially with electric vehicles. That's all I'm really going to say about that. It just seems like a no in my book. But put a nice ICE engine in it, and yeah, you've got something cool going on. A V8, a V6, twin turbo, whatever. I don't know what engines Hyundai have in their arsenal, but I'm sure they could put together something cool. But that brings me to a video that dude in blue made that cleared up something I've always heard about, but never really bothered to look into to learn more about. Have you ever heard about the phantom, legendary, mysterious, impossible, physics-breaking, water-powered car? Well, that dude in blue, our boy David Patterson, made a fantastic video going into the history and going over the whole timeline of events and talking about why it was such a big deal and why the events surrounding it make it into such a moth trap for conspiracy theories. So if you love conspiracy theories, you'll like this, because we're basically talking about a car that supposedly breaks physics, could not be explained by scientists that observed the car functioning, and also possibly the guy who invented it got assassinated. So check out his video. It's very interesting. And now for a palate cleanser, because we talked about some not super very Ice Age stuff, did you know that people build and race semis? You probably already did. I didn't. I had no idea, and it's freaking insane. Alright, people will build and race semis in drag races. But that's not all. Not only are they doing that, but they're giving them immensely heavy loads. Like, ridiculously. Like the sort of loads that would be extremely illegal on public roads, obviously. Putting huge strain on these trucks and then having them race to see who gets to the finish line whilst hauling a whole bunch of stuff. It's super fascinating and interesting. And they're chugging smoke out of their stacks the whole time. It looks a little nasty, but it's also kind of like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. So you can't help but you keep watching.